Hello, data warriors. Hope you guys are doing well. So I welcome everyone to Introduction to Data Sources, Data Models, and Data Sets for beginners. So in the last session, we have discussed a little bit about Sigma computing. So guys, I've already started 6 months mastery series in Sigma computing, explaining each and everything. What is Sigma computing? What is a workbook, data model, data sets, how and how we actually use SQL in real time using Snowflake. So this is actually a 6 months mastery series. So guys, if you are new, please subscribe to our channel. And if you want to follow the series as well, you can follow the playlist. So today we are going to discuss in deep about introduction to data sources, data models, and data sets. So here you guys are seeing the data sets, data models, workbook. So what exactly are these and how we can actually create a data model using data sets? That is something we are going to discuss in today's session. So, so have you wondered ever how these tools like Sigma Computing actually bring your data to life? So where does data come from and how does it get connected? That is something also we're going to discuss. And all these terms, guys, like data models, data set, workbook, right? So I'll explain in a very simple and practical way. So by the end, you'll have a clear understanding on how Sigma connects to your data, organize and lets you analyze like a pro. I'm really excited to share this actually session today. So let's start with fundamentals, data source. So what is data source? I think, so let's click on the data set, right? So when I click on the data set here, you can see the create data model page and again data model. So if you click on the data model, you can see something like here data model created, right? So data and data model created. So when I click on the table, you can see a lot of model stocks, data model, my data model, data sets, right? So when you click on SQL, you can see something called Sigma sample database. So guys, this is actually a data source. So basically think of data source like where your data exactly lives. For example, in real time, you can have data in your Redshift or Salesforce or Snowflake, SQL Server. It could be any data source, right? So it could be an Excel file, even a database, a data warehouse, or even a cloud storage service, right? So your data source could be anywhere, guys. So our agenda is to connect to this data source and import the data source into Sigma Computing and do something out of this today. So first in Sigma Computing, what we basically build is to build a data model which actually can be useful in your data sets. Let's say if you have created a data model and you have linked the data model to your workbook and your entire dashboard is being built on that particular data model, that itself something we'll do in today's session. Okay, so in if you want to give an example, like imagine you run a small online store, like your sales data might be in Google Sheets and customer info in might be MySQL database and product details in Snowflake. So each of these actually is a data source, guys, a place where your information is being stored, right? And how Sigma connects to this data source? So basically, it's one thing, right? Sigma doesn't actually store your data. I know that, right? So Sigma doesn't store your data inside. Instead, it actually connects directly your data source. So what's happening here is, let's say examples. I want to do something, right? Stocks data. I can see stocks, right? Company, prices, industries. So in my Sigma sample database, I have stocks database. Under stocks database, I have companies table, stock, daily stock prices, industries table, SP 500 prices, US stock prices. So I have all these tables. So guys, like when you create a table in Sigma computing, this table won't get stored in your Sigma computing, right? So let's say I want to pull the data of daily stock prices. So I'm just doing select star from this daily stock prices, right? So when I'm running this particular query, so this entire table doesn't get stored in Sigma computing, but instead it actually pulls data from your live database. As in Snowflake Sigma sample database, it is getting pulled from here. So that means your Snowflake, this means like whenever you use Sigma computing, you're actually looking at real-time data. No exports, no copies, no waiting for refreshes, right? So it's like a Sigma as a window to a data source. So window doesn't move the data, it just lets you see and interact with it. So basically you just interact with your data source using that particular window. Okay, so guys, here one thing. So here if you see again, I came back to the create new option, workbook, data model and data sets. So we first discussed about data source, right? So that means your Sigma sample data source is your data source. In your real time, any data source could be a data source. It could be from Excel, it could be from Snowflake, MySQL server, any data source. Now we'll discuss something about data model, and this is very important concept, guys. Data model in Sigma computing. Basically a data model where your right. It basically defines how different tables are related to each other, right? It's like a map that tells Sigma, hey, this is sales table is connected to customer table using customer ID. So it's like it's like modeling different tables. That is something we do it in data model. So let's say you have three tables, customers, orders and products. This is a classic example, right? And customer table could have the details like name, email, city. Orders table as like customer ordered what, and products table as what's being sold. So basically a data model links all this together. Like, so whenever you can easily answer questions like which customers from Hyderabad bought more than 10,000 worth of products last month. See, I am just joining those three tables. I can answer any question when you asked based on those three tables. So in Sigma as well, you can create joins, relationships, hierarchies in data model. And it data model basically helps cleaning, structuring and preparing data for analysis, and all without writing any SQL code. So this data model basically you can actually pull and different tables and you can actually join together. So that is the reason we have started creating data model, guys. So now what we are doing is we are creating tables, and those tables are being stored as data models, and we will create a final data model out of those created tables, right? So this first data here, I'm creating a table using SQL, Sigma sample database, and I want to take again a stock example here. So I'm just taking daily stock prices, right? I'm just selecting example stocks, daily stock prices. I'm running this particular query, and you see like we have 14 columns. And if you observe this dashboard, right, here you can see the symbol data model ERD. That means this is a data model book. Like, it's not a dashboard, it's basically a data model. And whatever the reason I've created for this data model is I don't want my dashboard to get connected to that live data source. So I want to create a data model and I want to connect it to the data model, and that data model is getting connected to database, live data source. So that means I can refresh this data model at any point of time without putting that kind of load on my dashboard. Right? Imagine your dashboard, if your dashboard is getting connected to this live database, right? So whenever you are trying to pull any data, whenever you're trying to pull any kind of information on your dashboard, then that will be a difficult thing, right? Because that your dashboard directly connected to live data source. But here, this data model got connected to this data source, and our data model will get connected to your dashboard. So dashboard, data model, and then live source. So that is something we are actually focusing on today. So I'm running this daily stock prices, and I'm creating this as daily stock prices. And again, I'm creating one more table, guys. Maybe again, I'll write a SQL here. Again, I'll take example from stocks, and I want to see what are the companies. So I can do select star from this particular table. Again, running. So you can see one table has already been created now. So you can actually rename this one. Since the SQL defines companies, it's better to give the same names as your table names. Let's say companies. So it will be helpful for you to refer later. If you are giving a different name, that will be difficult for you to track. Again, one more SQL. I want to pull one more table. So what we'll do is we'll join this three tables, right? And then we'll create a data model out of these three tables. And let's see how we can actually create a dashboard out of these three tables, right? So let's again go to stocks, and this time we'll pull industries table. So select start from industries. So data sources. So since these are coming from Snowflake, I am putting this state tab as data sources. And in this data sources tab, I have three data models. The first one is daily stock prices, second one companies, and third one is industries. So if you observe these three tables, guys, like here you have ticker, date, open, high, low. So basically this is a stock information. This is the stock information. And what it tells is each company, what is the daily high price, low price, what is the open price of that stock, and how that actually volume increased or decreased. So it gives details about your stocks, individual stocks and their companies, and that is daily stock prices. And if you see this company state for each company, and what is that name of company and what's the sector of that company is something, the data is getting stored in companies table. And then industries, again industry group, country, and broad group and subgroup. So we have different columns in industries table as well. So as a final data model, we'll try to join these three tables in Sigma Computing and see how the final data model looks like, right? So guys, I know if you are not following this one, don't worry, because I'll be explaining again in future classes in next sessions as well. But since this is a beginner to advanced level, I'm just taking you guys from little bit of beginner level to a mid level, right? So now if you are focusing on three tables, daily stock prices, companies, and industries. So what we'll do is we'll join these three tables using the concept of joins in Sigma Computing and see how the data model looks like, the final data model looks like, right? So for that what we can do is simply again go to data here, SQL, and select companies first. And you can see join, right? So I can actually create a new tab, final data model here, so that we can actually differentiate between final one and the data source one, right? So we have created a final data model here, right? So this is a tab. And if you go to data sources, we have daily stock price, companies, industries. So these are the three tables which we directly pulled from a data source, guys, so from Snowflake. Snowflake, Sigma sample, Sigma database. So these are the three tables. Now I want to join this daily stock prices with industries and companies. So I want to join my base table. So guys, in reality, in real time, focus on what is your base table, right? So to your base table, all your dimension columns should get joined. Here my base table is daily stock prices, and I want to join companies and industries to daily stock prices, and this is my final data model. So go to final data model, click on data here. So when you click on data, you can see the table, right, option. When you click on the table, you can see SQL, join, union, transpose. So for in order to pull the data from data sources, I've used the SQL option. But since I want to build a data model, right, I'll create a join, because I want to join my base table with the other dimension tables. So first, what is my base table? Daily stock prices. Just click on select here, and a new tab will get open, create join, and you can see the sources here, final output. Can you see? You can see this plus symbol, right? Add source. Click on the add source. You can see other two tables are already there. So click on companies and select, right? So if you see, automatically it actually created a join, the daily stock price with the left outer join key is a sticker here, ticker, and then your company's table symbol, right? So if you just join on these two join keys, you can see key no matches and key with matches. So total key count are 3193 with no matches 260 and then total key 505 to matches are with 503. Right, so 503 values are got matched. And again I want to click on one more time plus here and I want to select industries. I want to select here industries as well. And if you see the industries table, right, your join daily stock price with the industries. So here industries table got highlighted and you can see daily stock price and industries table got joined on ticker columns. And when I click on companies, the companies got highlighted and you can see daily stock price and companies. So when you click on the preview output, so you can see something like a flow diagram, right? Daily stock price and companies have joined using left join, and that particular join table are already joined with industries. This is the final output of your left join. So this is how we model in Sigma Computing Gate. So initially I took daily stock prices and daily stock price is my base table. I've joined companies table to by daily stock prices and you can see joined output, and for this joined output I've selected industries table, and final left join output you can see the left join as final output. So when you click on done, right, so this is actually your final data model guys with the these many rows and with 24 columns. So whatever the columns you have in your tables, which you have joined tables, right, those many columns will get into this final data model, and you can see final data model. So this is how we create data model in Sigma Computing, and this is chapter 2 guys. Chapter 1 I've given the introduction to Sigma Computing and how we can actually connect the different data sources and how to find them as well. And this is a chapter 2, we have created a data model. In next chapter what we'll focus is how we can actually use this data model and we create the dashboard. We don't create exactly the entire dashboard, we actually pull, but what we focus is on, we pull this data model into that particular dashboard and see how we can actually create a small dashboard, right, a small use case based on this data model guys. So this is how our lectures continue, like, what we planned is 6 months of mastery series, Sigma Computing from beginners to advanced levels. So guys, if you are new to this channel, maybe you can subscribe. But this is the end of our chapter 2, and we created a data model in Sigma Computing, and next chapter will focus on how we can import this data model into dashboard. And that is for today guys. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.